I got this one.
scared yet. Just stay there, okay? Hiya! Hiya! How's this? Loser! Just stay there. How's this? I'll get you for this. You loser!
Dodge this!